Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Factorio Heavily Modded. Let's just fix the game audio for you there. So sorry that it's been as long as it has for this episode to be out. I decided to record an extra long episode for you this time, guys, so it'll be about an hour long. A little bit less than that, really. But yeah, so last week I was told I was going to need back surgery. This week I decided to go to a second opinion, and they told me that I'll probably be okay based on my pain level going down with just an epidural injection and some medicine and physical therapy and such. So I'm going to be going through that here in the next little bit. But yeah, definitely I appreciate all the support. I appreciate y'all waiting on me to get these things out. Sorry if I'm not as active with it as I could be, but if I had the surgery, I definitely would have been nearly as active because I couldn't sit in the chair. But anyway, so where we left off, we had placed down some stuff for automation of tech cards. Problem is we are looking for oil, right? Because we need oil for the logistics tech cards, or not the logistics, but the chemical tech cards when we get there, whatever the blue ones are. I think we might need them for the green ones, maybe not, but either way, we're going to need oil soon. And I'll touch on that when we get to it, because there's a few issues with that as we go through this playthrough. One thing I will say is that oil, for some reason, in this mod pack, I don't know if it's intended or not, but on my version here, oil is not spawning on the land, and it doesn't in any save that I have. It only spawns out in the ocean. I don't know if that's intended or not, but you know, it only spawns in water. And I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you now. One of the problems that we run into here, and the reason why we never get oil in this episode, even though it's so long, is because I guess when I created the world gen settings and turned the water down like I did, it kind of did stop spawning oil. So that doesn't mean that oil is impossible, hopefully. I'm not entirely sure because I haven't looked too much more into it other than just searching for oil in the water. But it is entirely possible that we cannot get oil naturally in this world without doing something like coal liquefaction or something like that, and then converting it into crude oil and such, which I don't even know if you can convert it into crude oil, but hopefully we don't need crude oil for much. Theoretically, we should be able to use the other oils. In my free time on my just my creative world, I didn't need crude oil as much as I did the other kinds of oils to turn them into things. So yeah, so that's one issue we're going to run into today, that we're not really going to address for a little while until we actually run into needing oil. But once we need oil, we're going to have to figure something out about that. But the beginning of this episode, I'm exploring around the lakes, kind of trying to get basically to get view of the middle of the lakes here, hoping that I can find some oil somewhere, middle of the oceans, middle of the lakes, hoping that I can find that oil that I'm so desperately in need of at some point here. But unfortunately, no such luck with that. Yeah, so I'm just walking around searching. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Just got a text from my wife real quick. Might have to pause it here. But anyway, we're just walking around, looking around the place, kind of opening up the map some more as well. One other thing I do decide to do in this episode is, and right there, I pause for a sec because I'm like, oh, wait a sec, those are labs. And then the best thing in the world happens to us right now. If you see it, it's awesome. We just got a radar. So radars are something that we can't access for another little bit of science research here. Of course, the transport belts and the fast inserters and the labs were great, but the radar is definitely something that's going to help us out a lot, because that means we no longer have to go out and look around. to explore the map, we can explore the map from our base by hooking the radar up in different areas. And so that's what we're going to be doing. There's also a secondary car right there. I guess I missed that. I don't think I get that car. But it's good to know that it's there. I know about where that's at now. I do know that I find a second car here in just a second, but I don't think I ever realized that I missed one. Yeah, see, there's the one I picked up right here. I don't think I realized that I missed that one up there, but that's cool to know. So now I can grab it if I ever need one. But yeah, anyway, just continuing to search, just trying to find that, and I'd go up into this island a little bit, not realizing what I'm walking into, and I see the biters. I'm like, okay, well, I've got some ammo, let's just see what we can do. And then I realized, oh, you know, there's no real reason to. I was like, well, these guys are close to the base, we might take them out. I look on the map, I'm like, oh wait, we're actually really far away from the base, there's no reason to kill these guys. So I walk away. But anyway, as I was saying before, one other thing I decided to change in this episode, and it may be cheating to some people, this is another stupid decision. I decided I'm going to walk down the shore right next to this big biter base, or spitter base, and I'm like, so I almost run out of ammo trying to just get these spitters off of me, and I decide I'm just going to go back home for now, go a different way. But anyway, like I was saying, you'll see it in a little bit. There's another big base right there that I aggro, but I get away from after I get through all the trees. But what I was saying is I decided to turn on biter expansion chunks, the indicators on the map. I know some people might say that's cheating, but with the way they've been expanding, I would like to know, if these chunks are still able to be expanded into, or if they can be, if we can block them off to keep them from being expanded into. That's my aim here. There's actually a big portion of the map that I don't realize at this point, but when I turn it on, I do realize that biters will not expand to, that's next to our base. So if we can just get it to where the rest of the map is the same way, and we can just set up some heavy defenses on one portion of it, that would be great. But you see I placed the radar down, and we're going to sit here and watch it for a little while, just watching what it comes up with here, trying to find that oil patch that I so desperately hope and need, and failing anyway, because I still don't find it. But there's things getting attacked up here, so we're going to come up here and check on stuff, make sure what we need is safe. But I found I didn't realize that turret was sitting in the middle of the base, but it was. But anyway, just repair the walls here, come up here and check this, and I'm actually going to change this around a little bit and defend this portion of the base. I do place that other laser turret and a sentinel down, and eventually move those to a different spot there. But yeah, for now I'm just watching the radar, checking to see what's going on, what's it finding. But yeah. So alright. Oh, okay. So alright guys, but anyway, I'm going to pause it here just for a second. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. You probably didn't even notice I was gone, but I'm cooking supper right now. We're making a pot roast, so I had to go and put the vegetables in. Anyway, so yeah, we're just sitting here watching the radar, watching as things pop up, looking at what all is here. Biter nests, there's huge biters nests and spitter nests in this bottom corner here. Still trying to see if these crude oil patches might have just a little hint of oil. But yeah, other thing about it, these Tiberium patches, right? I'm watching them closely because they actually expand, and unless you get the Tiberium research done, a little bit of Tiberium research, to get to the node miner things, whatever they're called, I forget, they will continue to expand, eventually taking over the world, and they actually damage any buildings or entities that are on top of them. You see those rocks there were damaged just a little bit when I zoomed in on that. That's because everything gets damaged um, by Tiberium. And so if it takes over the world, that's pretty well the end of us living here. So we need to quickly get those under control as soon as possible. So we will have to send out a mining excavation or go on a mining excavation to those patches, at least the bottom one or the one on the right, one of the two, to get the Tiberium processing up for research. There's another one on the left side. Um, but we will have to mine the Tiberium in order to get research off the Tiberium so that we can then get the thing, the pump jack type thing, the node miner or whatever, to keep them from growing. Those little trees you see are the Tiberium nodes, and they are the growth nodes, and they cause it to grow. But still just watching as this thing uncovers more and more land to see what's out there, hoping that one of these lakes or oceans, whatever you want to call them, has oil in it, and still not seeing any. But you know, I'm still not going to use that oil for a little while. But I just want to find some. You know, it's like, why can't I find just a little bit of oil? And I mean, yeah, we have coal liquefaction at some point, but at the same time, there's only so much coal in the world. But regardless, I decided I'm going to start making production for the buildings, the Factorio buildings. So I put some stone in a chest because I need 500 stone, 500 iron plates, and 300 or 200 copper plates. So I'm like, okay, I'll just put some stone off the belt in the chest so that I can pick it up. We'll have the stone, and I'll just handcraft them. And that's okay. And then I actually handcraft one, and it's just crazy. I do also to go ahead and decide to dismantle that the lab there, the starter lab from the Factorio 2 spaceship, um, because we don't need it anymore. At some point I do, not yet, but I do. Um, so yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, let's just see. And it's going so slow. So I'm like, all right, I only need 100 more stone. I'll get it this way. Um, and I'm still like, this is taking so long. So I decided, okay, I'm going to place down a mining drone setup. And that'll work, but it's just, you know, it's still slow. It's even slower than the inserter going into the chest, you know, with just 2 mining drones. So um, I try to set up a chest for that, and it just doesn't work. So I'm like, well, it's got an inventory. I'll just use it. Um, just waiting on the stone, building it up to build a factory building so we can finally get one down. And I kind of use this first factory building almost a waste almost, but it's not a waste in the long run, but it kind of just feels like a waste to start off with because I don't know why I did it as the first thing. But I decided to use it to house our wood production, which it sounds weird and it is kind of weird now. But I that's what I do. So I take the factory building, and I was going to place it up here, but then I'm like, well, where's the wood going to be used for? It's only going to be used in the tech cars. But anyway, you can see we go into the building there just to show it off. So it's only going to be used for the basic tech cards, and at the moment. And since that's the case, where's the best spot to put it? Well, right next to the aluminum, where the basic tech cards for the aluminum wire comes in. So that's where I put it. I put it right next to the aluminum miners that I placed down for the basic tech cards. Um, and I go ahead and put another quest on their basic and automation tech cards, basically to automate those again, because I already had them at one point automated. But yeah, so now I'm going to take that wood and move it into the building. I decide to place down the balancer and the splitter to fix it. I set up the bots to do it, and then a wave approaches the base. So we're gonna have to fix that pretty quick. Go and attack these biters. We're getting attacked from 2 sides at the same time now. Right here, up at the coal patch is probably also getting attacked, but it's got a laser turret up there, 2 of them protecting it, so it's not as big of a deal. And then down at the bottom edge where we are always getting attacked from the big bases down in the south, what is that, southeast region. They are definitely attacking. And I accidentally used my nanobots to try and kill biters. That doesn't work. Anyway, I'm going to run down here because we're running out of ammo quick down here on these turrets. and just checking the ammo in them, topping them off to 15 at the moment because I just need to get it through the wave here. And that one actually did run out of ammo while I was standing here, and I'm out of ammo, so I have to fix the walls real quick to help them, and then go run fast to get some ammo, and restock them. But the radar finished with its little zone there, so I delete it, and we're going to take it and place it somewhere else to get more stuff. But we actually have a few things destroyed here in a second, because once again those turrets run out of ammo. Ammo is like our imagine that's gold. That's our currency in this universe is ammo. It's like these things, just these biters, these spitters are attacking us so much that's basically what it is. Ammo is our currency here, and we just have to bribe these guys enough by using enough of it on them to get them off our backs. But for some reason, they never learn the lesson. But anyway, that's a weird way of putting it, but it's truth. We just have to keep continuously filling them with lead, I guess you could say, and they just won't. They won't get learn their lesson. They won't stay away. But anyway, while I go to take care of the things that were broken up here at the coal patch, they attack the bottom area that I don't realize, I think, and then destroy it. Either that or they come back on a later wave and do it. But I just cut this, and the nanobots, you can watch them take it down. They're very slow compared to construction bots because they do one at a time. Basically, they have to fly out to the item, destroy it, fly back to me, put the item in my inventory, and then they go back out. But they use these capsules, so they can only do so much. But anyway, destroy all of those things, but now I have it copied, so I can paste it. And this is where I decide to put it. I was like, okay, well, let me just paste the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, wait, I've got this production building, this factory building. Let's place it down. Let's put it in here. And it actually turns out to be just right, except for a couple blocks. So what I end up doing is deleting that well and moving it. Because I can't actually fit it in here the way it is. So I paste it in the world. I attempt to turn off my RoboPort, and then I switch to my weapon. So that actually keeps them from building it. And I delete those things and then cut it. And I'm going back in the factory building to now paste the version that's got less things on it. And I paste it this way. I decided to put it up in this corner. Switch to my nanobots, and they start building. Placing everything back down the way, deleting all of these power poles, because something about Factorissimo buildings is that the power poles are actually not needed inside, because if you look in that bottom corner, you'll see that substation, and that substation actually connects power from the outside. As long as the outside of the building is connected to the power grid, everything inside the building will get power via that substation. So this is where I decide, okay, let's pull the wood out here for now, and I actually moved that in the future part of this video, but I pull it out, and it just takes so long. I just want to make sure it works because it's the first factory building we built, but it just takes so long to process each little bit of wood. So we're just going to wait on that for a second, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to add a tag here just to show, hey, this is where we're making wood. Once we get a little bit further on into our research here, we will be able to put tags on the exterior of the factory buildings, but we're not quite there yet. So I've got tons of wood in my inventory, so I just decided, okay, this is going to take forever. Let's just put some wood down and make sure it's coming out on the belt, and it in fact is. So now we're going to work on, we're going to connect this aluminum, and I'm going to start working on our, basic tech cards, automation tech cards, those two things. And I decided to change the connection points over here a second, but, and not a big deal, just because I got rid of all those things, the machines that were there. So I'm still looking at it like, okay, I'm still thinking, okay, handcrafting these is going to be so crazy. I just don't want to be dealing with that. So I'm going to, clear out my inventory with wood because I have so much of it from destroying those greenhouses that have been running. We're going to have to build even more storage at some point, but hopefully we can get some warehouses up by then. I don't know if we can or not. I haven't looked too far into the tech tree for those, if any at all. So, yeah, so we're going to go ahead and I was like, okay, well, let's just put this into a chest. Then I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I doing it this way? Um, I need so much stone for this, so much of the iron, so much of the copper. This is not going to cut it. So I decide, all right, let's do this. Let's go into Hellmod and create a production line for factory buildings, and just create a new one. And let's automate the creation of factory buildings. And this actually helps a whole lot because I don't have to sit here and wait for 500 stone, wait for 500 iron, wait for 200 copper. And we just are trying to make one, I set it to make one factory building per minute. In all actuality, we're not limited by the assembly machines. We're limited by the inserters putting things into the assembling machines. So, but I did find out couldn't figure this out before. But I did find out that you can go into this Hellmod section on the ores part and set it to mining drills. So if you go in here and click on the ore from the base mod, you can then go and say, okay, I have electric mining drills. How many of those does it take? And it'll tell you exactly how many it takes to mine those resources um, for what you need. So I do that for these. And then I'm also going to add some extra refineries for fuel because I can. But that way I know, okay, how many coal drills do I need to add? How many refineries do I need to add? How many of these, each thing do I need to add to our already current setup to get what we need to build these factory buildings and not, starve the rest of our factory for resources? And should I put a new, setup for it, or should I just keep the old one? So at the moment I decide, all right, we're going to expand this coal mining thing a little bit. And I'm like, okay, I'll just expand it straight up, and that's what I do. So I just copy it, I paste it twice, because I'm like, a couple extra drills is not going to hurt anything. It'll always be good to have more coal production. And then I build a wall. I'm like, wait a second. Now it's long enough. We're going to need the defense on both sides of it. So I move the sentry to the middle, and I break this wall again, build it out a couple, and place that other laser turret up in this top corner to protect the coal mining area. I also fixed this wall because it was kind of bugging me. Wasn't really needed to be fixed, or it didn't really have to be fixed, but I just really wanted to fix it, so I did. We add 2 refineries onto each side of our fuel refinery setup here. Just readjusting the zircon belt here to allow for that, and then just copying the inserters and the power poles over, and I had to switch that because I did it wrong the first time. But anyway, this time I just hand build it here because it doesn't take but 2 seconds to build. So get rid of that rock real quick, and then now we've got our extra fuel refineries set up, and then also I'm going to go ahead and adjust the zircon belt to go over this refinery just to get it out of the way. So now, I'm not sure exactly what I do now. I think I decided, okay, well, I'm still going to, I'm working on the automated production of these factory buildings. So yeah, so I'm like, okay, I need copper. Where's the best way to get copper? And then I see this big patch. I'm like, okay, that's great. That's going to give me all the copper I need. I'll walk up there and I place down these drills, and that's going to get us the copper. So yeah, so while I'm placing these drills, I'm going to pause this video just one more time. I've got to go finish up our supper for tonight, and then I'll be right back. So just hang on a little longer. All right, I'm back. So, yeah, I know, that some people might say, well, that's unprofessional. That's not right. You shouldn't be taking breaks in the movie you're recording to go do something. Well, or at least to make supper. Well, to me, I'm going to eat. I'm fairly sure there's plenty of people that could understand that. I'm going to eat my food, and if I've got to stop recording for a second to go and make the food so that I can eat it, then that's what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, fairly sure that's kind of like a common thing. You know, I mean, most people like to eat something. Anyway, so what we're doing is we're setting up this copper belt, and I ran out of belts, and I eventually changed the way I'm actually going to do it, but that's what we're doing. So I run down here to get some more transport belts, 1,500 of them to be exact, and actually during this video I will run out of those 1,500 belts. I do decide, let me place the radar up in this corner. And it'll start scanning that area to make sure, you know, see what all's up there too. But anyway, so yeah, these nanobots are placing down these belts for me, and I run out of nanobots just then. So I decide, okay, let's make some more. We'll finish the belts ourselves. And I'm like, you know what? Wait a second. That's not right. Why would I run it all the way over there? Let's get rid of this bakelite production because we don't need it right now. We will need it in a minute, but not right now. We actually won't be using that in the rest of this video. We're going to have to use that next video when we go for green science tech cards. Or logistics tech cards, you could say, you know, whatever. So I just copy and paste this furnace setup here for copper, and we needed 12 furnaces, what I'm going to set it up as. So I think deleting 2 creates that, or 4, I mean, 2 sets. So yeah, 12 furnaces. And then the nanobots are just going to build that setup for us really, really quickly, and we're going to be done with that. So somebody's outside my house honking the horn. Not me, but who knows? Man, I live in a me and my family, we live in a little bit of a rough neighborhood, I guess. Not really. I mean, compared to other places, we live in a little small town, so the rough neighborhood in the little small town is not all that rough compared to some other places, but at least for here, it's not the best spot in town. We're in kind of the roughest part. And, you know, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get political on you here. Nobody comes to my videos for political topics. But yeah. So we're going to set up this copper smelter. Come on through here. And we're going to get the copper plates out of it. Then we also need to set up iron production for the factory buildings. I am going to replace these, because I have the extra inserters, replace the input inserters to fast inserters, because that'll kind of hold us back a little bit. But yeah, so now I'm going to change. We're going to need 27 iron furnaces and a few drills for that, so I'm going to set up those. We need 27 drills as well. It's 1 furnace to 1 drill for this for the iron ratio, apparently. I do go and fix this belt finally, because I should have done that a while ago. But anyway, I do that, pick up some more iron plates, because I need iron plates. And come over here and pick up some more drills. Yeah, so these drills and everything are great to have automated, but we're definitely going to need to continue to automate more and more things, because for like a mall setup, because it's just not going to function. You know, these just inserters, transport belts, and mining drills is not nearly enough for mall production. We are also going to need to set up, definitely at some point, assembling machines, and probably 2x2 assembly machines, until we get the next level up. But either way, with AI industry, we have to create the level below in order to set up the next level. So it's good to just get them set up anyway. So yeah, so we are during this video we will set up transport belts. We're going to move it into a factory building, so that's going to be something we have at the end of the episode. We'll have that set up, actually kind of in the middle, but yeah, look forward to that here in a little while. And unfortunately, I lost some of my footage because of my stinking hotkey again. But I didn't do all that much in the time that I lost it, so it shouldn't bother anybody too badly. At this point, I'm trying to see what I can put in the trash slot just to get out of my inventory. There's a lot of stuff I really should put away, but I just don't. So that's going to be a problem for a while. We really should, well, I really should research whatchamacallit. Sorry, let me readjust my chair here. More inventory space. That's what I'm trying to say. But I don't. So just letting the nanobots. We're still crafting more, but letting them clear out the trees here. I'm gonna hydrate while I'm crafting those there. Drink a little water. Nice and cold. But yeah, just letting these nanobots clear out the trees and continuing to fill my inventory up with wood and wood and wood. And you actually see a lot of it gets just dropped on the ground because I don't have the space in my inventory to hold the wood or the stone from the rocks that were destroyed. So, yeah, just continuously a problem here. And so now we're going to build the furnace stack here, the 27 furnaces to be exact. So that's 10 plus that's 13 on each side, and then add one extra on the left side there to make it 27. I don't know why I'm sticking to doing these in the exact ratios from Hellmod. I really should just go ahead and make it an even number because it's nicer that way, but it is what it is. Continuing to do inputs on the inside and outputs on the outside for my furnace stacks. For some of them, and some of them I'm switching. It seems like I really don't know why I continually change how I do it, but I do, and you'll just have to live with that. See, like this iron forge, the inputs are on the outside and the outputs are on the inside. But that other one that I just built, the inputs are on the inside and the outputs are on the outside. I don't know. It's kind of off and on. You know, I just kind of decide when I'm making it, how I'm going to do it. But it really doesn't matter because all of this is going to be deleted and moved eventually anyway. Hopefully into factory buildings. So I'm not really too worried about it. And eventually we'll get better furnaces. So we'll be switching to those too. So, you know, doesn't really matter all that much. And actually, Biter comes in, or Spitter or something, I think Spitters, come and attack us while we're building this, which is weird because we haven't had any attacks from this side, and we'll actually find out why that is when we go to turn on that setting for the, whatchamacallit, the Biter expansion on the map. We'll actually find that when we find out why there's no attacks from that side when we do that, because there's no bases on that side of our base. There's no enemy bases at all for a long ways. So I don't know if that's just because at the beginning of the game we explored out that way, or what, or maybe didn't explore out that way. I'm not really sure, but there's just no bases on that side. I do expand the wall a little bit there while I'm crafting some power poles as well. Connect the power lines up for this iron smeltery. And then I adjust these transport belts because I missed one. That'll get that smeltery up and running there for us, continually making more iron so that we can use this iron. This theoretically should be exactly enough iron that we need for crafting our factory buildings, and it actually is very well. It does work very well. So just sitting here crafting some belt balancers. That's something else we'll need to automate at some point, but not right now, because as you know, you'll find out in this video as we go through here. Automating things for the factory is very important, but at the same time, it's typically very expensive. So, yeah, you can already see that I'm having to add all these extra ore mining drills and furnaces and everything just to automate one item. So adding the extra automation for other items is just a whole lot more. But now we finally, well, actually, one more thing we're going to do is we're going to change the way we're mining stone. We're going to put some more mining drills down for stone in a separate system here off the same patch. So that way we can have enough for the drills. And we're actually going to move this coal belt out of the way so that it's not interfering with the other belt here. But yeah. So I just delete this belt, place down some more mining drills here for stone. Once again, fill up my inventory because I'm just that, that's just how it is. Um, place down some more mining drills for the stone here. Some of them get powered, some of them don't. It just depends. And put in the transport belts and the power poles for the stone. Deleting that coal belt gave us the perfect slide through, the pass through here for our stone belt, so that's perfect. We're going to put a splitter in here and then a belt balancer in just to straighten it up and run the stone over to our production facility, our automation facility, assembling machine is what I'm trying to say, for our factory buildings. So we actually haven't placed that assembling machine down yet, but we're just going to run this over here to the area with the iron and the copper, and that's going to be where we're going to place down this assembly machine. Right here, actually, right next to that turret. I stop the stone there, and I build the assembly machine, place it down here. Run the stone belt down, then I'm running the copper and iron. And originally I decided, okay, I'm going to run them together and save an inserter, and then I'm like, wait a second, this thing takes, hundreds of each of these resources. One inserter is not going to be nearly fast enough, so in fact I switch them all out for fast inserters except for the output, and then I split the belts off. Instead of just leaving one as copper, one as iron, I split them off right here. You'll see me doing that now. So yeah, so now we've got fast inserters doing it, and for some reason I'm looking at myself at this point. I'm like, where's the stone? I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't send it this way. But anyway, so we are now have full automation for factory buildings, and I'm like, okay, loaders, that's what we need. And then I'm in my head, I'm like, okay, what do we need for these logistics tech cards? I'm like, okay, electronic circuits, that's great. Well, let's get the electronic circuits built. I can handcraft those, and then I can craft the logistics tech cards, and then maybe we'll have enough to make, because we should have enough to make the loaders. And I'm like, once I finally do it, I realize, oh wait, I have to research a bunch of other stuff before I can research loaders. Why am I thinking I can just go straight to loaders? I don't know. My brain misses information sometimes, like the fact that that was red in the research queue menu. So yeah, that means we can't research it. Here's where I destroy the lab, the original starting lab, and it actually gave us some extra sentinels and some gears, so that's cool. But yeah. I removed the natural gas drills here because there's plenty of more natural gas in the world. We can grab that at any point in time in the future. So eventually these coal burners and everything will be moved anyway. We're just getting rid of the rest of the coal that's in this patch here inside the walls because it's really not much use to us. But anyway, I just set this assembler here so I can direct feed the blank tech cards in. And then I place in the iron gear wheels and the electronic circuits that I've handcrafted for this to work here and make some logistics tech cards for us. And then this is where I realize, oh wait, I can't research loaders because, unfortunately, so I crafted them. I'm like, oh wait, I can't do it yet. So we actually were required to get oil processing first anyway. Because these loaders actually require fluids, I think lube or something, petroleum gas, something that they require just to run. I know that the bigger, like, express loaders require lube. I'm not sure if the standard loaders do, but they do require some kind of lubricant, and so I'm thinking crude oil is what is used for that. But anyway, I'm just looking through, is there anything I want to research right now with the logistics cards? And I decide, no, not right now. So we have a few waiting for us if we need to, but we have our second factory building made. And originally I'm like, okay, let me place it here for the basic and automation tech cards. I'm like, wait a sec, no, let's put it down here and actually move the transport belt facility into the into a factory building. So that saves us some space, and it really does save us a lot of space actually, because all of those machines will go into this one building, and it also gives us space in that same building for making nanobot packs, which we're going to build in there as well. We're coming up to the first spot where I accidentally, or where I had to stop the video. I don't think I lose any footage from this particular spot, but it's going to last for 4 minutes, and then there's going to be a big jump where I lost my footage from. But, we'll get there at some point here, so it'll be okay. But I'm disassembling those, leaving that transport belt chest, and I completely forgot that I left that there until just now. So when I went back to get more transport belts later on, I went to the chest inside of the factory building instead of that chest, and I really should have just gone straight to that chest, and I didn't. So yeah, that's something of note now to remember for next time. Hopefully I do. Also, I found out that the mining drill factory was not connected in any way to the power grid except through the transport belt factory. But anyway, now we're going to start work on those transport belts. We've got the inputs here, iron plates and aluminum plates. That's all we need for transport belts. And we're still just using the same branch that was split off originally for the transport belts, so we're not getting in the way of other production here. I place these down. It's really dumb the way I decided to place those. I don't know why I did, but I remove them here in a second anyway. So give myself space on top to insert or put inserters down and belts down to get the belts out of the assemblers. Then I pull the aluminum plates up because they're needed for this recipe for transport belts, and put them on one half of the belt there, feeding them into the assemblers, and then feeding the belts out of the assemblers just to a balancer for now. I really don't need that, so I change it. But we get interrupted because a wave of biters and spitters is approaching the base. Actually, the coal patch again. So we then have to go and take care of that problem because they're attacking the coal patch and actually doing some good damage on our buildings up here. So that's important to fix. So I walk up here and I make more nanobots packs and repair the wall and the turret here that is just completely damaged, and decide, okay, I've got 78 ammo. Let's go up here and see if we can deal with one of these nests. But then I see, oh wait, something was destroyed, and I don't notice it yet, but there is something that was destroyed. One of our walls down at the lower end. And I don't notice that until we get a lot more issues. And this is where I decide, in the middle of the biters attacking us, to turn on the enemy expansion stuff. I had actually decided to do it before I started this video, but I didn't do it until just then. Um, right in the middle of the wave, standing right in the line of fire from the biters, just to see, okay, where can they expand? And you see, there's this huge area over here where they can't expand, but then there's these chunks right next to the base where they're, pretty well going to expand is the idea. So we need to fix that pretty quick if we can. Basically, just by building infrastructure in that area and clearing bases out that are up there away from our base. Once we get the ability to do so, you can see me being a little smart here, writing the belt down while I'm looking at the map. To see what's going on. They're still attacking that coal base, but the laser turret's protecting it. Now they're damaging the walls down here in this area But I go back into and just start continuing building the factory because I'm like, everything's all right. I did not notice that one destroyed building, which I think was a wall. But anyway, when I rebuild this, it becomes a lot more compact than it was before because this is going to be probably um, the last bit of tweaking to this build we're going to do. I'm probably, if I do move this into a different building, I'm just going to copy and paste it, or I'm going to take this whole building and put it into another building because you can do that in Factorissimo too, which is very interesting. But you can take this entire factory building that we're standing in right now and put it into another factory building, uh, so that you can, it's like Inception basically. So it's a building within a building within a building, right? Um, and you can do that as many times as you want to. So you're not just stuck with the space you've got. You can make as much space as you need because you can just put buildings inside of buildings. As long as you have the production of the buildings, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, anyway, we're about to come up to where I accidentally pressed my stop recording button, which is when I decided to type in 10 nanobot packs a minute. Um, in Hellmod because 0 on my numpad is my recording button. Um, so yeah, that happens right here when I put it down. So here we go in 3, 2, 1, jump. Here we are after completing our basic tech card factory and the nanobot pack factory. So yeah, drink some water real quick. While we were away, I completed this basic tech card factory, and I found out we needed more aluminum, really, for what I wanted. So I added more aluminum. But yeah, in case you were wondering, also we've managed to produce like 10 or 12 factory buildings from our factory building assembling machine up there. So that's also really great. But I didn't research anything, so you don't have to worry about that. Just that's all I did was build that tech card factory here. And we're now going to spend the rest of the video inside this factory building pretty much, except for fending off the stinking biters and spitters and whatnot from attacking our base. So if you're up for that, then let's go. But we're going to, by the end of this video, we will have basic tech cards and automation tech cards automated. So that's definitely something to pay attention to. Yeah, it's so crazy. The smallest little button click can just ruin my recording, and it's a button I use so much because I use my numpad for typing in numbers. I really should get out of that habit, but I got into that habit, and now it's just really hard to switch it. Um, I should probably just rebind my key, my recording key, to something else. But the problem is, it's hard to find other than on the numpad, it's hard to find a button that is not also used by Factorio for something. That's why I usually use my numpad for hotkeys in games and such, is because, a lot of keyboards don't have a numpad. So a lot of games and such do not use the numpad for hotkeys. So anyway, I'm running in some iron now to this factory building. I'm going to smelt it and then turn it into sticks and gears. I'm also going to run in some copper from right there and turn it into cables to automate the red tech cards, automation tech cards. Now going back into this and placing the furnaces and such for the iron into the building here. I do have the iron and aluminum smelting in this building. Really could have done it differently, but I didn't, and that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do things, in any particular way in Factorio. You can just do it however you want to, and that's the fun part. And y'all have to sit here and watch me do it, even if it's frustrating. So, but at the same time, y'all have to watch me do it, but so do I. I have to watch myself do it after I record it and then realize, hey, I could have done this a lot differently, and it probably would have worked better. Like I'm just realizing now, the rest of this video, if I had moved those furnaces over one or two spaces towards the wall on the right side, it might have worked out better. But then I also realize now that if I had, I couldn't have gotten the iron belt in quite as easily as I did. But I could have done it a little bit differently and still probably made it work. But regardless, that's how I set up the furnaces for now for the iron plate smelting. So yeah, but we're going to cram in into this area. We're going to cram in iron plate smelting, iron stick factory, iron gear factory. We're also going to do automation cores. We're also going to do blank tech cards and then automation tech cards inside this factory building here and now. Outside of the factory building, because I didn't have enough room in the factory building, we're going to do copper smelting and copper wire factory production here, automation, so that we can run it. Those iron gears and sticks will be moved in just a second because they're taking up space in the wrong spot here to allow for me to build everything I need to build at this point. But yeah, so we're getting those slowly but surely created and crafted and put into place. Um, just rerouting everything to make it a little easier on myself. I'm just going to combine these since they're only being used for the automation cores. That's all they're used for right now. And then going straight onto a belt going straight into the red tech cards. This is where I realize, hey, I don't really have enough room right here for what I want to do because I need 8 of these assemblers to match. So I'm like, okay, can I place them at the bottom? No, I won't have enough room to insert in input and output on belts here. Okay, let's just move this out of the way. Then I can place a couple more assemblers here. And then I just need one more assembler to place down. So let me just take these, slide them out the way, and then I'll be able to do this fine. So I'm actually going to run this iron plate belt on the other side and down around underneath this place here, underneath that, and then into it. And then I'm going to place that there and then realize I still don't have the right amount of space. So I'm going to cut this and paste it over just one spot here to give me that extra little bit of space. So now I set up these assemblers to do that, and I think I go off and fight another wave of biters and spitters here. Either that or I go and do the copper one, but I don't think I continue. Well, yeah, well, look, 9 buildings destroyed, or 5, sorry, I can't read. Anyway, 5 buildings destroyed, and the biters and spitters have gotten into our base because they destroyed that one wall earlier, and that gave them access to destroy that turret, and I was unable to, I didn't realize that until just then when they actually managed to get into our base. At the same time, we're running out of ammo down here, so that also helped. So we have to defend it ourselves because we don't have any ammo in the turrets. And yeah, just great, just wonderful. We really need to do better with turrets and ammo production. But like I said, we're limited on lead supply, so it's hard to really do that. Even though we could create the ammo better, how are we going to get the turrets supplied with it? Because then we'll be wasting so much lead putting ammo onto a big long transport belt to where we need to go. So really, I'm thinking let's try and base the edges of our base, the walls of our base around a. Let's try and base it around. See, okay, I didn't notice that, but if you look in the bottom left corner just a second ago, if you go back, there's actually a huge wave of biters right there. If you look right there, you'll see it. I just now noticed it. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot. They just snuck up on me. So here we go. Now we've got another huge wave of biters that can just walk into the base anytime they want to. And I didn't notice it. And now I have to destroy these nests. And they were about to expand right there, too, because you can see the creep forming. But thankfully, I destroy these guys quick enough that they don't. I have to get rid of all the worms first. Then I get rid of the nests because the worms are the biggest threat to me. The nests are not as much because I can just kill the biters or the spitters that come out of it. But then I destroy the spitter nest, then I destroy the biter nest, mainly because the biter nests take so much more ammo to destroy because they have a lot more health. But not only did they expand here and create nests and biters and spitters here, they also spawned and expanded a worm over here, right there. And I think it just popped up. Just a second ago it popped up. I didn't even realize that. Wow, I just saw it pop up while I'm doing this video. And then now this nest as well. They were about to expand right there too because I just saw the creep. And now here's another nest. And they're right here next to the base. It's crazy how quickly they expand. Like right up to our base. But it's really because there's not a lot of room for them to expand outside of the area around our base. So if we just manage to keep them from expanding next to our base by walling it off and building things inside of it, then they won't be able to, and we won't have any problems. So I actually am running through med packs really quickly. So something I added, and you might have seen it in the research, is fishing ponds. Basically, it's called advanced fishing, and so in order to do that, we actually have to get chemical science tech cards here, the blue ones. So it's going to be a minute before we can do that, but once we can, then we will be able to automate med packs, and that will just be so helpful. If not med packs, at least the first aid kits that we're using now. And that will be very helpful for clearing out biters if we have to go in and by hand like we have been doing. But we're getting pretty close to the end of this video here. We're just finishing up this automation tech cards here. I really appreciate all of you guys for watching this video. I hope that, if you have watched it, that you've made it through to the end here. If not, that's okay. I understand, but obviously if you didn't make it through, then you're not here listening to me talk to you. But anyway, I just appreciate everybody's support for this series. I really do. It's meant a lot to me, and especially with all the stuff that's been going on in my life right now, keeping me down and kind of keeping me from doing what I want to do physically. It's just been a great help to have support for this series so that I can do it and be just who I want to be, on camera, even if I'm not on camera, which I have been in the past, but just playing Factorio and enjoying my time. I really do enjoy Factorio. It's one of those games that just sucks you in, and especially for me as well. I just really love this game. That's why, even though I never actually finished the base game, that's why I added all of these mods into the game because I just really love this game and I'm willing to spend hours and hours and hours in it, you know, just to play it because I love it. Um, but yeah, anyway, so we're gonna finish up this copper production here and get into change it into whatchamacallit, wire, put it into the tech cards, and then we'll be done with this episode. But I really do appreciate the support, and I did want to put it out there, and I wanted to ask the question to everybody here. I'm thinking about putting a poll up. I know I'm a small creator. I don't have very big of a following, and it's hard for me to make content. But I'm thinking about doing a live stream series, or not, if not a live stream series, like a smaller series, just where I go and basically record myself playing the base game and finishing the base game the way it's designed. If you would like to see that, let me know. But what I was thinking about doing was starting a Patreon to do that on as like an extra content thing because I don't want to do Patreon if there's nothing in it for you. You know, if I'm going to have a Patreon, I'm going to have it offer something new that you won't get to see here on the main channel. Um, even if at some point I do come back to the main channel and do a Factorio series with just the base game, I want to do something to give some extra meaning to the Patreon. I don't just want to not just have the Patreon be like, okay, you can give me money and you just watch my normal videos. I want to give it a meaning, right? Something behind it, a reason to do it, not just like, hey, if you want to support me through financial means, you can. But anyway, I'll probably do a poll out there about that on the community tab. So if you're a fan of my content, definitely look out for that. I'll put a poll out um, just to see, if anybody's interested in that. If there's not, then it's okay. But if there is some interest, that'd be great. It would definitely help me continue to make these videos because give me a little motivation to continue as much as I possibly can. Is really hard to, especially with everything that's going on right now, to find the motivation to sit down and do these videos. But I really enjoy it. But it's just like with everything else in my life that's going on right now, it's hard to find the motivation. So if I did have the Patreon set up and was getting that from it, it would give me even more motivation to continue to make this content. It's kind of another way of showing me that, hey, there's people out there that want to see this content, want to have me, to listen to me ramble for hours or whatever. But anyway, definitely be looking out for that. I really appreciate it. All the support that this series has gotten. It's better than my other videos. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for everything you do for me and for watching these videos. It just is, it's great to see the support, to see the people that have really enjoyed this series so far, and hopefully will continue to enjoy it as I keep recording. I do plan to continue this series because I'm not just going to leave it. I've gotten so far into it. I mean, you can see at the top, I've played 14 and a half hours on this world, so it's not going to be done now. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is me signing off, and I've been producing videos. Thanks for watching.